everybody. This is John Marola from Keepin' It Real Section 5 Football. And yes, we are starting our third season of Keepin' It Real. And this will be our 99th episode.
Wow.
So this is kind of a little bit of a milestone. You know, we've done 90. Actually, we've done some more, but they haven't come out like to the public. They're more like test runs. So, but officially, we're at number 99. So, and we're starting our third season.
Good for you.
So,
great.
You know, we're just having a great time with it. All right, before we get started, let me go over some things first. Just so everybody knows, on the off season, which is now, we're going to be on every 2 weeks. So this one you're going to get this week, and in 2 weeks from today will be our 100th episode. And Paul and I, our first season and last year, he's the guy we got to start the season off is John DiTullio. You know, we have John come in, and we just have a great time.
Well, he's always our first guest, and we usually kick off the season with him.
Yep, he's a great kickoff guy. So we'll have John in 2 weeks, and like I said, that'll be a lot of fun. Before we start, for everybody that out there that has subscribed, I got to say thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. We really do appreciate it. If you have not subscribed to our channel, just hit the subscribe button, hit your like button, and if you have any comments, please give us some comments, okay? That'll help our station out. That's one thing that I'm trying to work on really hard as far as get more subscribers, get more people out there viewing us, and just seeing what this is all about. You know, we're just trying to keep Section 5 rolling. So, now on to today. First of all, I have to introduce my partner on my far right, Section 5 Hall of Fame coach from East High School, Coach Paul Brigani. Coach.
Thank you, John, and welcome, Dave and Pete. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having us.
And this episode, this is kind of a redo. We did this a couple weeks ago, and it didn't come out. So
you don't have to tell everybody that.
That's all right. Hey, I had a guy tell me, actually a couple of weeks ago, he said, if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
Well,
I'm learning.
Pete and I usually miss the call the first time around anyway, so I even did it right the second time.
Right.
In that business.
There we go. So, we're going to do this episode with our officials that we had on a couple of weeks ago. First of all, on my right, Section 5 referee for 35 years, Dave Cohan.
Yes,
Dave,
sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right. And next to him, next to me, Pete, how many years?
I'm going on 28 or 29.
Somewhere up there. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
on there, lost track.
we have a lot of years at this table right now.
Well, we might as well get started right away. For having that many years, how'd you get started into officiating? And tell us a little bit about that journey.
So I moved here from Buffalo, and I was a sales guy, and I called on a customer called Roland Engraving down in Henrietta. And I had a big quote out there for about $100,000, and the gentleman, the engineer there was Chuck Greenlee.
Oh, great.
Chuck was the president of the football board, and he was bugging me to come down and go to a meeting. I'm thinking, maybe if I go to a meeting, I might get the order. So I got the order, and I went to the meeting.
That's a win-win.
Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah.
Well, you, Pete.
I started going to all the meetings in 1998. Went to everything, and then I couldn't make the scrimmage because I had to work, which was on a Saturday, and I quit because that was part of the 5-point program. So the following summer, John Schwartz called me up, said, how come you had dropped out? I told him why. He said, all you had to do was send us an email. You could have made it up. I'm like, okay, I'll be there.
Well, you know, speaking of that, and you probably could explain to the viewers, you know, one of the reasons we put together this podcast was for information to get out into the section. And I guess, you know, someone who wanted to get into officiating, what do they have to do? Who do they contact, and some of the process that they go through to become certified?
Yeah, we have a website. It's rccfo.com. You can go on there, or you can email me at peter.mccabe@echoecho.com. We'll get you set up.
Okay, very good. And how does it work as far as I guess, a probationary period? Where do you start at what levels, and how long does it take to move up to, I guess, the varsity level?
They come in as a candidate. If they move up, they go to an associate. The third year, they're a senior associate, and then they become active. Now, technically, we're not supposed to use first-year guys or second-year guys on varsity games, but because of our numbers, we've been using first-year guys in the last 3 or 4 years. And some of them have done very well, some of them have struggled. We really haven't given them an opportunity to get experience underneath because we're trying to cover all the games on Friday night.
And that's right, because we're so top-heavy with Friday night games now that it makes it very difficult. And do you have to go outside of our organization just to fill in some of the games?
I go to Finger Lakes. I've reached out to Section 6 before. Generally, Finger Lakes is strapped as we are. This year, going forward, we're going to cap the games at 15 on Friday, cap the games on Saturday at 8. We're trying to get more games on Thursday night, which a lot of the coaches are in favor of. So we'll see how that goes. We can't put first and second year guys on varsity. We need to retain guys. We don't need to lose them because the coaches are upset and they just don't have the experience to do the games.
And how is that going as far as the retention of officials to the new ones coming in, retirements? Just like Dave is going to have, you're going to lose a great official, and
We're
Dave.
going to miss him big time. He's hard to replace. He's not going to be replaced. So, with that being said, we need to retain guys. The other problem we have is college. College is hurting at a Division III level, so generally we lose 3 or 4 guys every year to the college guys, and they're working Saturdays. That's another reason why we're trying to push Thursday night.
What are their crews? How many are in their college
Right
Division
now
III?
they work with 7 guys on a crew.
Really?
I'm sure they want to go to 8, but right now they work with 7 on a crew.
And Dave, tell us a little bit about, do you remember your first game as an official?
I do.
And tell us a little bit about that, and tell us about the last game. I think you worked at the Carrier Dome with the state in the state
My
finals.
first varsity game was with John Norson. It was over at McCabe versus Victor, and I was a linesman. And I remember one play, and the pass went over the receiver's head, and I gave one of these. And Coach Hall was on the sideline there, and he ran up one side and down the other. And Norson came in and kind of took care of it. But that was the first one. And the last one was a lot of fun. I mean, it was in Syracuse. It was a Class C final, and I was lucky enough that we had 6 officials, and we were all from Rochester.
Wow.
Not my normal crew, but guys that I've been friends with and worked with for years. So the game went great. It was a lot of fun.
Now, on that play, the uncatchable,
Yeah.
could you tell the coach, not signal it, I know that, but could you just tell the coach the ball was thrown so far out of bounds he couldn't catch
Well, we don't have that rule in high school.
it? Really?
Yeah. I was so used to watching
Watching
all games and stuff.
Right. You get
So
programmed.
is it just a
And
judgment call on the official if he thinks the
Yeah,
ball...
it's a judgment call. I mean, we're told not to throw it if it's uncatchable, but you don't give a signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I wanted to ask, I was kind of curious, if either of you have worked in a game, and what is the protocol if an official goes down in a game, and how do you work it? And obviously, depending on which official it is, if the referee or the R went down, how do you work a rotation? And has that happened to any of you in a game?
I've had it happen. I mean, we talk about that as part of our pregame. If somebody goes down, who's going to go where? So I've had it. Guys it was 100 degrees out, and it got hot, and one of the guys got sick. Luckily, we're 5 men, so we could go to 4, which is still doable at the high school.
Do we? I don't know this, but in sectional play, do we bring an extra official just in case of that type situation?
We used to, but now we're going with 6 men or 6 people on a sectional semifinal, sectional final. So if we lose one in one of those games, then we go down to a 5-man mechanics. The state okayed that a few years back, where they've had the alternate official on the state finals, state semifinals, and of course regionals. But they said, why do that when we put the guy in the field? And thanks to Section 5 letting us put a sixth official on sectional finals and semifinals now too.
And maybe you could explain to the viewers out there how the sectional games, how the officiating crews are selected for those games, and how that works.
You're talking to the guy that does it.
Okay, that's why we asked the question.
The top 10 guys are easy. He obviously is one of them. But the next 20 are real tough decisions. I have to look at coaches' ratings. I have to look at coaches' comments. I look at if a guy has a mileage block. So in other words, some guys won't go south of Monroe County. I look at, has a guy stepped up during the season to do things like if we get a turn back during the year. But all year, I know the state final guys in June, and I struggle all year long with who's going to get what games. And, as the season breaks out, I decide on it. Then I have to go to the chairman of Section 5, and he has to sign off on it. And, of course, the coaches have a big say in it. But I went to Section 5, the football committee, a couple weeks ago, and I said, I need to know before Wednesday, before the game, if you don't want an official. So hopefully that gets a little smoother. But generally, our top guys are really good, I think. I put the best guys out there.
When you assign these type games, are you looking at each game individually? You might have a team that you have two quarterbacks that throw the ball a lot. You may want a back judge that runs pretty good, that to try to put place.
Absolutely, and the teams. Obviously, you've got to break down. I don't want to say D's worse than double A, but it depends on how I look at the games and how close they're going to be. Okay, and can the official handle that situation? That's my biggest question. I don't want to put a guy on a game, especially in front of somebody that's a tough coach, that can't handle the situation. And that, in my mind, I struggle with that. And, I go with my best guys in the best games.
And Dave, tell us a little bit about some of the games. When and I know this as a coach, we've worked games in the rain, the snow, the mud, and some of your memorable games that you've worked under these adverse conditions, because I watching the NFL games this weekend.
Yeah, I think actually the worst one was this year. It was I think it was a sectional game, or maybe it was right at the end of the year, but it was
Halloween.
It was Aquinas at Penfield.
Halloween.
And the game ended with a field goal right at the buzzer. That game, it was pouring rain and it was cold the whole entire game. So that was probably the worst one
that you've had to experience.
That drove me out.
Well, speaking of that, and Pete, maybe you could elaborate for these new officials. How does that work as far as uniform, warm weather gear, what things do they have to come up with? What is provided to them? How does that work?
Yeah. First of all, they got to get fingerprinted, and that has to be okay. Section 5 in New York State. Then the uniform, and what people don't realize, it's probably $600-700 to get a football uniform. To get everything. You have to have cold weather gear. You have to have warm weather gear. So our season starts when it's hot. Our season ends when it's cold. So you have to be prepared to go on the field, because there's nothing worse than being on a game, or number one, being cold, or number two, being too hot. So they've got to be prepared, and it costs a lot of money to get involved in it. And generally, it takes you 2 years to get back what you invest in. And that's what hurts us with a lot of younger people. They can't afford that $600 for the initial cost for uniform. Now, we as a group go out and we'll get used uniforms from officials that retire, and we will give them to the guys as they show up for their first and second meetings.
How many meetings do they have to the process?
We have 8 meetings.
And when do they start?
They will start the last week of July on Mondays, and they have to attend 6. Plus, we also offer a Wednesday meetings for the new people, where they can go Wednesday, and we give them football 101 in those meetings.
Okay, and Dave, you can probably answer this. Have you worked all the referee positions throughout your career?
Oh yeah, you start out, you're on the line, you're the linesman and the line judge, and then you'll move into maybe a back judge position. I've never really done the umpire position.
Okay.
But probably after 10 years, then you can like graduate into being the head referee. If you have that desire.
And what do you say? Do you say someone I want to pursue the referee position now? Or
I think this is the guy you want to talk to and put it in his ear, and he'll probably tell you, all right, here's what you need to do to get to that level.
We'll put them on JV games,
Yeah.
and every game's on Huddle or streamed. I can watch the games, and I watch a lot of football games in high school during the season, and the guys will tell me I want to do this, and I'll go watch them work. I'll give them a game where they referee or work, a back judge, and I'll watch how they do.
Do you get much, I guess I want to say, coaches that will come to you at the end of the season and maybe they show you a cut-up of a situation that happened in a game and want your input on, where they saw it one way and maybe somebody else saw it another?
We get that every week, right?
Saturdays and Mondays are really busy for me. I get plays sent to me all season long. Coaches have an opportunity to send the plays into Rick Hamlin, but sometimes they shortcut it. I am on more teams' huddle sites to see plays, and really they look at it. They got questions about it, and everybody's gonna. No official does a perfect game, and it's one thing to miss a hold or whatever you want to call it, but it's inexcusable to miss a rule. And, it's, in a 5-man game, high school officials, Tim Arden told me one time, coaches expect perfection. You're not perfect.
Yeah. And, Dave, tell me, we were talking about your first game. Tell us about your last game.
Well, the last game was at the Carrier Dome.
Who was it again?
It was Bronxville and Shenango Forks.
C?
Yeah, it was a Class C game.
Class C game?
Bronxville beat them it was 42-28 maybe.
Okay.
Good game, a lot of fun. I had my wife there and my kids, and it was fun.
Being indoors.
Yeah, well,
That time of year.
that's a bonus.
Dave, when you work a finals like that, is the crew from all over the state? How is that game, or is it a Section 5 crew that would work as an independent for some hour?
Typically, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's usually a mixed crew where you got guys from different areas. But we were lucky this year. We were allotted 6 guys on the game, so everybody that I worked with was from Section 5.
Section 5 crew.
So
yeah,
it worked out great. Yeah, a lot of familiarity.
Yeah, and that definitely helps out in the long run.
Yeah.
You guys.
That was great, but we're not allowed to do our own teams, and I think we had 2 Brighton and
Brighton
Rowe in the finals.
right in the finals.
So we had to do one of the other 3 games.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Well, we talked earlier. You're retiring and going to be moving out of state, and I think you'll be in the Pittsburgh area. And is there any thought of getting into officiating there?
I'm going to. I have a couple contacts. I'm going to reach out. John Schwartz, who's a friend of mine that was a referee with us and did college, he's been down there about a year, and he actually worked last year in the high school board down there. So I'll put some feelers out, and I still love it and have a passion for it, and get goosebumps every time I'm standing there and the national anthem plays. So when that doesn't happen, I'll be done.
He's got Buffalo Bills season tickets. He can come up here and work on weekends.
Right.
Yes, he can.
You bring them
Told him
in.
that too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And that's great. That's great.
Well, I'm going to miss the guys. I was lucky enough to have a crew this year for a couple years. Same 5 guys on every game.
Oh, wow.
That was a blast.
Well,
Great
just the
crew.
familiarity of everyone. They know they're,
And I tell you, this past year or two, when I go watch games, now that I'm doing the podcasting, that Paul and I or whatever, going up to a game and seeing either you or you, I know I'm at a big game. You know what I mean? Because that's where the big gun. You guys are definitely the big guns as far as officials.
We try hard.
Just the big gun.
No.
You were at the sectional game. Few couple. Your last game we were at, we had a ball. You don't even know what that.
Oh, the one at Brockport?
Nope.
Wait, the second to last?
Second to last game you ever refereed.
Oh, in Buffalo.
Nope.
Oh, the Eddie Neath, Eddie Neath game.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a beautiful night.
I think we ended up having a 9-man crew.
wow.
I said, Pete, here, I want my other 4 guys, and then we added a couple others that I've been mentoring and working with for years. So I think we had 9 guys out
Yep,
there.
you did. It was
It was great. It
great.
was a lot of fun.
Wow.
There were a lot of referees, and you know what? There were a lot of kids playing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I've
there
never
were.
seen that many kids playing the Eddie Meath game,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's great, but you can't run the game without the officials, and half of the guys are going to agree with the call, and the other half are not. And,
Oh,
and you make it through, and you move on to the next.
The biggest thing is referee coach communication. You know, and a good coach knows we're not going to get every call right. I know going into a game we're not going to do a perfect
You don't
game.
see it.
That's why I want instant replay. Everybody's got the technology to do it.
there's huddle
And,
all over the
you know,
place.
New York State's saying no, but
What is New York's reason for not when other states?
we don't know. But, you know, if we could have that one call back where, you know, and you were at the game, Pittsburgh McCabe.
Yep, yep.
I had a play where I called it a fumble and it wasn't, but I was in the wrong position. You know, I got straight lined, and to me, if the ball's on the ground, I don't know how it got there. The bag's coming. So, with that being said, once I saw it, it was obviously not a fumble, and that's something I want to get right. So, with that being said, you know, somebody could have thrown a challenge flag. We could have looked at it. Bingo, we would have changed it, and it wouldn't have affected the game. And we have the technology to do it. I just wish we would.
I was.
Yeah, well, you saw that in Ohio, right, Johnny? You saw that in the Ohio state playoffs.
Now, one other thing I think that I'd like to touch on is this is for the coaches that are watching us. In the beginning of the season, back in early August, they have the Westside Camp up at Greece Olympia. And we get about 12, 14 teams up there for that. And I noticed that's a good time. I noticed the officials come out and, you know, kind of get their cobwebs out of at the beginning of August. And also, when I was coaching at Aquinas, I remember that every year we always had Ronnie Camp come in, and he talked to our kids about, I mean, the rules, especially nowadays. I mean, compared high school, college, pro, it's 3 different worlds.
I remember we always had Frank Morfino came in and spoke to our kids at East and go over any new rule changes, watch some of the practice, watch some of the kids' techniques, and if something needed to be corrected, we were getting that done in practice. And you see that at like Bill's camp, they have officials there.
And they always used to have a scrimmage day, and I think Section 5 kind of got away from
Got
that.
away from that, and they added the extra
game and
Well, now they have Westside Camp,
Yeah.
which is a week before.
George wants officials on that all the time.
Of course, for free.
Monday we have a meeting. Tuesday is kind of hard, and on Wednesday I'll give them officials. Now, other coaches in Section 5 will reach out to me and say, look, I got a scrimmage, we're bringing in a team. I'll say, I'll try to get you some officials. And generally we will send guys out there. And, Rush Henrietta used to have a 7-on-7 camp that ran June and July when Joe Montesano was the coach there. And we always filled that for him. But again, I mean, I don't want to go on the first Friday night season. I haven't been on the field yet.
Yeah.
I have to get into some preseason scrimmages. There's not a guy on our board that can't do that, or shouldn't do that, I should say.
Now, I think this year, too, I think George is planning on, don't quote me out, is that he's going to have the West Side Camp and he wants to have an East Side Camp. So I think he's working on that. So that gives you guys I know.
You know what I wanted to, ask you guys too, and are most schools providing security on and off the field for the officials? Are you guys escorted by anyone with any?
I'll answer that. Monroe County, yes.
Monroe County, yes.
The best security I see is in Monroe County schools. I mean, you're escorted in, you're escorted out. But that's not the way. I'm not going to get into specific teams, and that's not the way it is. And generally, the schools with the money have that. But you go south, you don't have the security like we have in Monroe County. And security to officials is very, very
right,
important.
absolutely. With
you never know where that one guy's coming from.
Unfortunately, that's where the world we live in.
No, but I was, that's something that should be addressed and provided for, for the officials.
Absolutely.
And on all sporting venues.
We have more problems at youth than we do in the high
That's
school.
what you're saying.
Youth is a big problem.
probably with youth, there is no security in a lot of those games.
And we've had a lot of issues within Monroe County. There isn't a Sunday in the last 3 years we haven't had a problem.
Wow.
Do you guys still do those Pop Warner games on
We don't do
Sundays?
Pop Warner. We do there's a league. It's basically Monroe County. Pop
Okay.
Warner we don't do.
Good. I mean, it's out of control. I see it all on YouTube and that. I mean, parents fighting. It's gotten way out of hand. Coaches are coaching young kids, and I see it. I mean, these Pop Warner teams, they're playing 18, 20 games in a season.
Since you're bringing this up, in 2009 I got hit in the face with a
Yes,
helmet.
you did.
So I almost died on the field, and that was a semi-pro game. We don't do those anymore, but I know firsthand where it comes
How
from.
that
You
can
never
be.
know. And when I'm walking through a crowd, I always try to stay close to the guys because you never know.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure some schools are better than others, but it's who is on their sideline and even what connection they have with the team. And then you, as a referee, just want to speak to the head coach. You don't need to hear anybody else that is chirping their opinion. And
I believe that Pop Warner, the coaches demand all this time with these 10, 11, 12-year-old kids about playing, but I don't see them doing anything. Those guys should all be certified to coach. At least get first aid.
I think they have. I think they take fingerprints. There's things that
Are
they
they
do.
starting to now?
Yeah, there's things they do. What they are exactly, I don't know. But unfortunately, they're not football coaches. And
No.
you know what? They give a lot of time and effort to a lot of those programs. I see it firsthand. But they're not a Paul Brigandy where they know the game. They know what they can get away with, and they know what they should do as far as coaching kids.
they, speaking of that, what you guys deal with too is you've had the weather situations where you have the lightning and stoppages, and you pull them off the field, and then maybe you start to play again, and you get some more. Have you had games where you've had to finish the game the next day or later?
I had one of them. It was out at Penfield probably about 4 or 5 years ago. We have to wait. Once we see lightning, it's a half hour.
Half hour?
We could be sitting there for 28 minutes. If we see lightning, we got to wait another 30 minutes. So, it gets to the point where it's, 11 o'clock at night, and we'll see you tomorrow and finish up the last 6 minutes of the game or whatever.
He finished one for me at Penfield where we started late because of girls' soccer.
Yeah, this year.
That was one overtime, right?
So we get in third quarter. I stop the game. We go upstairs. 30 minutes. It's all gone. We restart the game. And of course, who knows? There it goes again. And that's when we went in. We decided we're going to go the next day. And of course, now I've got games on Saturday. So he came and finished the game for me because I had a game down in Avon. But that's a situation where the next day for me as the assigner, I must have had 5 games I had to cover the next day, and I was full of officials. I didn't have the officials.
You're supposed to do it. Have you had many games too where an injury has been a long delay, and however you've had to handle that? Where maybe not moving a player from the field and a long delay due to injury.
Yeah, knock on wood, I've had a couple, and we just kind of stand back and, as a referee, I need to write down who the player is and what team and what time and what happened. Mm-hmm. We just need to report that on our end, and I think we report it to the state, actually. Other than that,
that situation and that, but I think of those like the DeMar Hamlin when he went, and
I had one in
Geneseo, right?
Geneseo
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
Go.
York was playing Geneseo, big game. It's the Valley Bowl down there, and the kid come off the sideline and just collapsed.
Wow.
And they had to do CPR in the field for him, and he's okay, but it's something you don't want to go through, trust me.
Wow. Well, again, you guys have experienced a lot. I guess why you both give some props to some of the guys who you were mentors to you as when you first got into officiating, and some that you would turn to even later in your career on some questions and situations that came up.
Yeah, for me, like when I first started, Frank Marfino and John Norson and Jim Sheehan, and then I worked a lot of games with Mark Remillard,
Right.
and Ronnie Camp and Tim Arden, And that's where you learn everything. I mean, we had a lot of fun and a lot of learning. And
those are some great names that you mentioned.
even in the last 5-10 years, I mean, Pete and I, after a Friday night game, the first phone call I get, I'm laying in bed, is from Pete. Or Saturday morning, we talk about, hey, what happened? Here's
the
what
game,
happened.
what situations.
Yeah.
Pete, how about for you?
For me, I always wanted to be a referee, so I had the 1 year I'd take off, and I worked a lot of clocks. So I watched, as far as mechanics go, Tim Arden, he was really good.
Yeah.
As far as how to talk to a coach, Mark Remillard was the best. Those two guys stuck on my mind. I watched him a lot. I watched Brett Kutchme. I watched him a lot. And I just watched how they did things on the field, and I took a little bit from each one of them, and that's what I do now. But as a white hat, you got to know the rules, and you got to administrate the game. It's probably the easiest position on the field, but you got to know the rules.
It's the most responsibility.
Oh, yeah, and you're the face of the crew.
Yes.
You're the one the coach wants to talk to.
Yep.
You made me laugh when you mentioned Mark Remillard with how to deal with coaches. And I'll never forget a story that Werner Kleeman was telling us one day. He was yelling at Mark about some call, and Mark came over, and Werner is just yelling, and Mark bends down. He unties Werner's shoes and then ties the shoelaces together and runs away. And Werner looked down and he laughed, and it kind of diffused the whole situation. But those were the kind of things, yes.
I'll give you one. I was in a Pittsburgh Fairport game at Fisher one time. I was the back judge, and Mark was the referee. And Coach Molinek was going off the handle on the sideline. And there was a red towel in front of him. And Mark said, "Is that your challenge flag?" Molinek goes, "I own nothing red."
We had Mark Remillard and Ronnie Camp. We were playing a game at Edison Tech. And I'll never forget, we got off the bus, and the kids are looking at the field, and they're saying, "Oh, what is all that stuff on the field?" I said, I think they were aerating the field, but it was all the geese and whatever. So both Mark and Ronnie Camp are raking the field, taking all that off the field, and and I'm sure they'll never forget that game.
I remember there was a year, I think we didn't do the games over there. Just because of the conditions at Edison.
That was a bad situation. And, I did one game over there.
But a lot of good stories with
a lot of fun. Yeah.
Those and
Mark, a story I have with Mark. Trying to think of the year even. I was coaching at Aquinas. I think it was right after Dave Neiman left. I went to Canandaigua, and we had Rob Sneddon was our head coach at Aquinas, and we were playing McCabe at Fisher, and first down, second down, third down, fourth down, and then after fourth down, McCabe had the ball, and they didn't get it, so our kids are cheering, and Mark goes, "Fourth down." That was just fourth down. He's like, no, it's fourth down now. So call a timeout, went through this whole spiel, whatever. He agreed, they got together, they get together, and nope, it's fourth down now. Okay. So then I see him 2 weeks later. He comes over, he wants to hug me. I go, no. He goes, "I am so sorry." I go, "What are you going to do?" I go, it didn't determine the outcome of the game, but, and luckily they didn't get it on fourth down. Would have been fifth down, we called it. So every time after that, I would say, "Hey, Mr. Fifth Down," to him, and he's just a great guy too.
So funny.
People like that are,
you got a lot of great guys you're going to miss, and obviously Dave's going to be one of them.
Yep, we're going to miss him big time. He did a lot of big games for us. Highly respected by everybody in Section 5.
Well, thank you.
Coaches love him. He's got a tremendous relationship with every coach. And basically, from what I can see, they trusted him, and that goes a long way.
Thank you.
Dave and Pete, do you get many of the young officials, just like when you were all young officials, any young ones that are picking your brains on situations and just some maintenance and conduct in games, how to handle situations?
I mean, I get a little bit, not, you probably get a lot, but I mean, I remember coming up and I had like Mike Palermo, I said, Mike, come to the game and critique me, and he had a pad of paper this long, that's stuff to go over and work on and get better. But I don't see that much of that anymore. I don't know. How do you do?
Yeah, I've got Dave Ashley reaches out to me almost every Friday night when he gets frustrated, and he's turned into a really good college official. I don't know how much longer we're going to have him. I've worked with a lot of other guys. Guys will reach out to me and want to go over their game tapes and stuff like that. And those are the guys that care, and those are the guys that I trust because they want to get better. I mean, judgment is one thing, but you can't. The heart is the biggest thing. If a guy wants to really get it done, he can succeed at it.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. Very good way.
Yep.
Now, before we get out of here, there's a couple of things I got to add. Tell me, and I know there's a lot out there, tell me who one of your favorite high school coaches, when you see a game and you're like, oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. Who is one of your favorite? You can only name one.
Only one.
Only one. Head coach. Would you go and just be like, wow, this is
I got about five. It would be tough for me to name
all right,
one.
give me the five.
And Bobby Bates,
All right.
Coach Battaglia,
Tags.
Jason Mohammed. I had a great
Okay.
relationship with Jason. Mike Stumpf, Coach Welch.
Yes.
Those are the guys, I mean, recently that I really love
When
working
you've seen
for.
those games, you're like, wow, this is going to be,
I enjoy it, yeah.
that's great.
He named most of them. I mean, Coach Battaglia, Bates, they're two of the best. One's a great offensive coach, one's a great defensive coach. Coach Montesano from Rush Henrietta,
yeah.
I learned an
Yeah.
awful lot from. Then I'm going to go down to Livingston County. There was a guy at Bath, Wayne Carroll.
I remember, Wayne.
Wayne told me one time, he said, I don't judge the official on the call, I judge where he's at. And he told me one time, he said, you're one of the best out there, you keep doing what you're doing. I can go on and on, the coach at Bolivar, the coaches at Leroy, the coach Cal Mum, Brian Moran. As much as Brian, I'm going
Yells
to
and
forget the name,
screams.
Brian knew I screwed up. And I said, you want an explanation? His eyes were, I don't even know. But, most of the coaches I get along, Mike Stumpf is really good. The coach from Canasteo this year reached out to me an awful lot, asking me about rules and stuff. I mean, Andy Englert from Avon, tremendous guy. Tyler Winter right now, the guy ahead of Section 5, is a tremendous guy. Scott Barker, I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I know I'm leaving guys out, but, I tell you, the Aquinas McQuaid games were with Battaglia and Bates coaching. Those were trips and a half.
Surprises me a lot that you guys both said Chris. It kind of surprised me a lot. Now, I could say that, because I don't even know if you guys know, but Chris is my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So, and we get on each other like we're, but yeah, Tags will blow up, but then he comes back down very quick.
Oh, yeah.
He reminds me of the Webster Thomas lacrosse coach. They're a lot alike. But when Chris went to Rondequoit, I thought he did a very good job there. Coach Victor's a really good coach, but he kept Victor under control a lot of times. And
tried to.
And the defense at Rondequoit, when you did a game, and the same with Aquinas, they weren't that good in the first half. They changed in the
Made some
second half.
adjustments.
Bobby Bates is another one, and I'm sure you see it a lot with Bobby, that their offense might not be doing the great job, but he makes a lot of adjustments. What he did with that team this year
Oh, my God.
incredible.
Yes. The Pittsburgh game that you did, if that game was played 3 or 4 weeks before that, it wouldn't have been a game. It was just the best job of coaching I've seen. And, it wasn't working. So instead of beating your head against it, let's change this around and get the kids. And they won their last 3 out of 4 games.
Yep.
So, a lot of kudos go out to those guys.
I hate to leave guys out. Section 5 has a tremendous amount of great coaches. They work really hard. They work all season. They start in the summer, all season long to the end of the year, and they bust their butts. It's a year-round thing. It really is.
And you know what, too, is this is probably a good platform to say this, is a lot of people, parents, don't understand the time that you guys put in your off season, during the season. This is not just show up to a game and you're out there for 2.5 hours, then you go home. I mean, there's a lot behind the scenes that goes on.
And speaking of that, what is the communication throughout the season? Do you meet with officials, email, different situations that maybe came up in someone's game and want to make everyone alert about, or?
Rick Hamlin will send out the coaches' plays, so the coaches will send in plays every week. He also sends out the huddle tape for each game when the teams send them in, and we can review our game. I look at all my games. I don't look at the calls. I look at my positioning. I look at my crew, how they did position-wise, and just go back through the game. And, I spend a whole day with that. And then on Tuesday, generally, I'll look at the other games where coaches will question things, or if I see a real good crew. We went to Cruz this year because his crew started a couple years ago. I went to 7 or 8 crews. That really worked out well. So I'm watching guys. I want to see how they move up. And, just it's amazing what you can see on tape.
I know for football coaches, there are statewide clinics, nationwide clinics. What do they have for officials? Is there anything that they have out there that, whether it's throughout the state or nationally, that you look to sometimes, and some organization or maintenance things that you guys do?
Our guys do a great job training. Dave Ashley and Rob Austin are 2 trainers, and we have Jake Considine that does the new guys. We have a lot of meetings. We go over a lot of tape. They spend a lot of time working on that stuff. And, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. NFHS stuff on Facebook is tremendous to look at. There's all sorts of different things there. You can put what you want.
I was going to say it's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Great.
And if someone wanted to be an official, where can they pick up a rule book, a national high school rule book, if they wanted to, just in some preparation for that?
We get them from the state of New York. When they have their meeting in June, our Chris Guy will bring the rule books back. And we just get enough rule books for the guys, but George Giordano is treated differently. He gets a rule book from me every year.
Keep up with that. How many rule changes are there usually yearly?
A handful, right? Yeah.
Again, it's safety, a lot of safety issues.
A lot of safety, a lot of uniform type stuff.
I just chuckle. I watch these games, and maybe it's even the college level. We talk about safety. Look at guys are wearing short pants now out there.
I know.
That is a point of emphasis within our state, and they want us, when it comes on the field, we have to tag the head coach from unsportsmanlike. I got enough to look for, and
I know.
Somebody's going to say different, but, we have to look at the knees now. But there's other things that these tails that these guys are wearing are illegal as heck, too. Basically, I try to take care of it on the field. Pull your knee pads down. Pull your knee pads down. I don't want to go over there and tell your coach he's getting unsportsmanlike because you're not covering your knees.
Have you had to deal much with the concussion or concussion symptoms when you see someone that takes a pretty good hit? Is a notification to the coach? How do you, how have you had to handle those type situations?
Yeah, I haven't had it that much, but if you're looking at the player who got hit, and you can tell.
That
Their
eyes are a little wobbly.
As soon as possible. We're not doctors, but we would definitely get the right people out there and take a look at them.
Oh, great.
Great. All right, I want to say to both of you, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys being
Thanks
here.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Our pleasure. Yep.
We're going to miss this guy.
Yes, we are.
Oh, stop it.
No.
You develop tremendous relationships when you get into officiating, and it's a lifelong friendship. And like I said, we're going to miss this guy. He's tremendous on the field. Great guy, best friend of mine, and we just need to move on. But unfortunately, we'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss you guys too.
Well said. We lose an excellent official, and if you go down to Pittsburgh and do it there, they got themselves a good one.
Thank you very much.
And
Hope so.
Can't come here on weekends if the Bills game. You can come with me.
Yep.
And Pete, one last question, or can you tell the viewers again, if you want to get into official, what website would they go to?
rccfo.com. That's rccfo.com. Or you can email me, peter.mccabe, M-C-C-A-B-E, at echo.com, and I will get back to you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Pleasure.
And, just, this is a part of Section 5. It's a big part of what we do. And, like I said, letting the people see this and see that you guys, like anybody else, we're all human beings.
Absolutely.
And we're just trying to make this better and better every year, and that's what it's all about. All right, guys, on 3, we'll say 1, 2, 3, keeping it real, Section 5 football. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Keeping it real, Section 5 football.
Good night, everybody.
one in a million, super rich. Got so much dough, I don't know what to do with it. Suddenly, a part of me just wants to go back to how it used to be. Super rich, got so much dough, I don't know what to do with it.